Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay. So, had I known that the entire town of Lancaster would show up for this class, I would have said you guys don't need a strap. So if you do have a strap, awesome. If you don't worry about it. We're going to focus more on the block stuff. And if you're scared of what I normally do with the block, don't worry about it. We're doing something different. So if you don't have a block, definitely grab one. There's plenty of them out on the wall that you can borrow and then just spray off after class if you need to borrow them. So, a couple of things coming up. 40 days is starting in January, and if you're not signed up for that, you definitely should, because we've already got a good chunk of people that are signed up for it, and I want you to get a spot if you want a spot for that. It's only $99, and there's yoga practice and work with meditation, and there's a dietary component, and there's hour-long discussion meetings that are on Thursday nights here in Lancaster from 7 to 8 p.m. with me and Lisa, so it'll be super fun. And if you have any questions about 40 days, let me know after class. I love talking about the program. It'll be my 6th time doing it, so it's good to do it over and over again. And with that, let's get started in child's pose. Feet together at the back of your mat, nice wide knees. And then take a few moments to settle down into the ground, to let your fingertips really melt down into the mat. The tops of your feet down into the mat. And when it's cold outside, there's this tension that we carry around in our bodies, this tight muscle-to-bone action instead of active muscle-to-bone action that makes things really hard to move around. So take a few breaths here to drop that kind of tension in your body. So your whole body can be heavy and fluid. And then start to build a purposeful breath. Long, long inhales, and then an equally long exhale that's super loud so everybody else can hear it in the whole room. And get your exhales louder. Sync up with the person next to you. So we all come in with a different breath and different stuff going on in our life. But then you come in, you sync up, and you create structure in your breath and structure in your practice, so you can create that same kind of structure in your life. Press your fingertips into the head of your mat and take downward facing dog. Lots of breath, lots of purposeful breath. Pedal out your feet any way you need to, move your head around. Bend one knee and then the other. And then come into stillness. Sink your heels down towards the floor and bend both your knees. Just a slight bend in both your knees so you can send your tailbone way up and back. And send your right leg up to the sky. Heel towards your butt, open your hip. Flex your foot, spread your toes apart. Wake it up. Open up your hip a little bit more. Come into the tippy toes of your left foot. Get high, yeah. Beautiful. Active feet. Straighten your leg. Place your foot down, send your left leg up to the sky, heel towards your butt, open your hip. Add more breath into the mix. Active foot, active toes. So you start to wake up every single part of your body, even the extremities. Come up onto the tippy toes of your right foot, get a little higher, yes. Straighten out your leg, place your foot down. Separate your feet mat width distance apart, and come up onto your tippy toes. And drop your heels over to the right. So your feet are in line, blade edge of your foot and blade edge of your foot. Stretch out your side waist. And you can add a little bit more stretch in your side waist by coming up onto templed fingers with your left hand. Just your fingertips, so it's like spider fingers on the ground. Yeah. Come back through center, switch sides, take your heels to the left. And maybe you temple your right fingertips and get one long line from your fingertips all the way back to your hip crease. Come back to center, bring your feet back to hip width. Take a breath in together. Breath out together. Nice, move forward, feet to hands. Halfway lift, lengthen out your spine, get long, 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 and bend your knees more than you normally do. Yeah, so you can really send your tailbone out behind you and then pull your low belly in front. Get even longer, so keep your breath going, and then with every breath, your tailbone goes back further, crown of your head goes forward more. Take one more breath in, stretch out long, hang in ragdoll. You can make a box with your arms and grab hand to elbow maybe. Be really heavy in your feet. Sink your big toes down into the ground and then get really rigorous about keeping your feet at 12 o'clock. So both feet face straight forward. And that may feel like slightly pigeon-toed. So the sides of your feet are parallel with the edges of your mat. Yeah, press your big toes down. Press both sides of your heels down. Lots of breath. Keep it flowing. Wake your body up. And release your hands down and rise all the way up to standing. Use your feet. Press down and rise up. Reach through your fingertips. Bring your thumbs to your heart. You can high five your neighbor. That's okay. Set an intention for your practice. Choose anything you want. Just one simple word. Make it really clear so you can bring it into the structure of your pose. That's what we're working on all class. And let's send out all those intentions with 3 ohms. Take a deep breath in. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, long spine. Get as long as you can. Plant your palms and step back to high plank. Hold your high plank, keep your breath going. So really long. And check in with your toes. You can even look down and check in with your toes. Make sure your heels are stacked right over the balls of your feet. So you may need to come a little bit further or scoot your feet back so you're one long line and your heels point straight up to the sky. Beautiful. Create a little valley between your shoulder blades. Like your shoulder blades are coming together, and that'll keep space for your heart to reach forward. Take one more breath in here. Lower all the way to the mat. Palms by your low ribs. Upward facing dog. Peel yourself up. Wrap your shoulder blades behind you. Downward facing dog. Lift your hips. Breathe in together. Breathe out together. Make a big, powerful breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more, fill up. Empty all the way out. Step forward, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Bow down. Rise up to standing. Press into your feet to make it happen. Reach up, forward fold. Halfway lift, long spine, ribs together. High to low plank, step back. So you can lower all the way to the floor or pause at elbow height. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Breathe out. Nice. Press your toes down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Long, loud breath. One more in. One more out. Step or jump. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Lengthen. Keep the structure. Fold down. Rise to standing. Big toes in the ground. Lift up. Look up. Forward fold. Awesome. Halfway lift. Get really long. Chaturanga. Step back. Upward facing dog, wide open chest. Downward facing dog, lift your hips. Breathe together. Sink your thumbs down into the floor. One more, fill yourself up. Whole exhale all the way out. Step or jump. Halfway lift, tailbone back. Fold down. One more, Sunday, rise to standing. Take a baby back bend at the top. Lift your chest, forward fold. Halfway lifts. Chaturanga, the exhales on the chaturanga. Keep it fluid. Upward facing dog, shoulder blades back. Downward facing dog, lift your hips. Breathe. Make a connection with the person next to you. Make a connection with your mat. One more, breathe in together. Breathe out together. Step or jump, feet to hands. Keep this pace. Halfway lift, lengthen. Fold down. Chair pose, sit back and pause. Down in your chair, the breath still flows. So point your tailbone to the back edge of your mat instead of straight behind you, just the back edge of your mat, so you can really pull your low belly in and then knit your ribs together on the front side of your body. Sit a little bit lower. Yeah, bring your shoulder blades toward your spine. Hug them in on your back. One more breath. Forward fold. Halfway lift, soft knees, tailbone back. Chaturanga. If you're jumping, make sure it's to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot through for warrior one. Land. Use your inhale to reach up. Chaturanga on your exhale. So it's not rushed. The breath is still fluid. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left foot, step through. Land on empty, rise up on your inhale. Reach, high to low plank. Beautiful, keep going. Up dog, thumbs in the floor. Down dog, hips back. Breathe in, breathe out. Send your thigh bones to the back of the room. Breathe in, breathe out. Fingertips in the ground. One more breath. Empty out. Jump. Halfway lifts. Bow down. Chair pose for one breath this time. Reach up, sit deep, fold. Halfway lifts. Chaturanga. All your fingertips on the ground. Press down. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot warrior one. Step. Stack your knee on your ankle and reach. High to low plank. Upward facing, breathe in. Downward facing, breathe out. Left foot, step on empty, rise on your inhale. Hands to the ceiling, chaturanga. Awesome breath, guys. Upward facing. Downward facing. Breathe in together. Breathe out together. Good, breathe in. Let something go, let it out. One more, fill up. Step or jump, feet to hands. Halfway lift, keep long, low belly in. Fold down. Chair pose, Utkatasana, shoulder blades together, forward fold. Halfway lifts, chaturanga. Low belly in and up, upward facing, downward facing. Right foot, step forward, land on empty, rise up on your breath, lift up, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Opposite foot, step through, sink your big toe down and rise up. Chaturanga. Keep going with your breath. Inhale up. Exhale down. Breathe together. Make it loud, make it purposeful, make your breath fill up your entire body so you can stay right here in your body, nowhere else. One more breath. Empty all the way out. Step or float. Last sun B. Halfway lift, soft knees. Fold down. Chair pose, tailbone to the back edge of your mat. Fold. Halfway, get long. Chaturanga, step or jump back. Upward facing dog, open chest. Downward facing dog. Right foot, step, rise up. Big breath to lift you up. High to low, empty out. Keep the rhythm in your breath, no rush. Upward facing. Downward facing, left foot, step through on empty, rise up on your breath. Chaturanga, let it go. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in through your nose, let it out through your mouth. Nice, breathe in. Sigh it out, let it go. One more, fill up. Make a crazy noise. Step or jump, that was like a louder sigh. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose, go for it. One inhale, reach. Forward fold. Halfway lift, soft knees, chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Send your right leg up to the sky. Heel towards your butt and open your hip. Make a lot of space. So now is a place where for a lot of people you start forgetting your breath. Stay in it, flex your foot a lot. Wake up your toes. Awesome. Come up onto the tippy toes of your left foot, way up high. So there's plenty of room for you to flip your dog, visit your neighbor's mat. Flip your dog, come all the way over. It's okay if you step on your neighbor's mat. Reach through your fingertips. We're all here together. So imagine that your left armpit is pulling up into your body. Press so much down with your left palm that your left armpit sucks up into your body and supports you even more. Keep breathing, make it light. Wake up your fingertips like you intend to touch the front wall or the floor. Smooth and fluid right side plank, flip over. Plant your palm, left hand up to the sky. Keep breathing. So your breath is kind of like your own cueing in your body. It's your own teacher. So when it feels like your breath is getting really ragged or you're just holding your breath so you can hold the pose, you've gone a little bit too far. So come to the space where you can still breathe and work from there. Now reach your top hand towards the window, stretch out long, the whole left side of your body, super, super long. You've got one more breath, reach, high to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Send your left leg up to the sky. Heel towards your butt, open your hip. Wake up your foot. And then make sure your left shoulder is still facing the ground for right now. So the twist just happens in your hips. Awaken your foot, awaken your toes. Now come up onto the ball of your right foot, really high, flip your dog. All the way over. So 2 flat feet on the earth. Make your feet and your toes work for you first. So both feet face the back of the room. Reach through your fingertips. Keep breathing. Is your breath helping you out or is it hindering you? Make it flow. Make energy happen in your top hand. Reach, reach, reach. Flip back over left side plank. Face the yellow wall. So there's no hurry to get there. Move like you're going underwater and you've got nowhere else to be but right here. Because that's the truth. You've got nowhere else to be. You're just right here. Shoulder blades together on your back. Energy in your top hand, like there are strings in your fingertips and they're pulling you up. They're taking the weight out of your wrist. Now take your top hand to the front wall. Stretch out your side waist. Really long. Ribs together. Make the line even longer. One more breath. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Whoo! Stick out your tongue on your exhale for lion's breath. Breathe in. Awesome. Breathe in. One more. Fill. Send your right leg up to the sky. Keep your breath going. Flex your foot and turn all your toes to face the floor. So long straight leg like you're going to leave a footprint on the back of the room. And you can even turn the outer edge of your left hip down towards the floor. And you know that your hips are square because you can start to feel your inner thighs kick in, like you need to squeeze them together to keep your hips there. Now breathe in here. Knee to nose on your exhale. Squeeze in, round. Press back, inhale, get long. Use your low belly. Squeeze your knee to your nose. Squeeze in, in, in. Press your foot back really long. Knee to nose, hug in, hug in, hug in. Place your foot for crescent lunge. Keep your breath flowing. So crescent lunge is that place for a lot of people where you stop breathing. You're like, okay, I'm here. Start breathing. Long, purposeful breath, because you have that opportunity. You get to pause in every single pose and catch up with your breath. Now sink the pinky toe on your back foot into the ground and stack your heel over the ball of your back foot so you can send your left hamstring way up to the sky. Yes, press up, press up, press up. Now what's going on in your front foot? Sink your front heel down into the ground, so much so that you could lift your right toes off the ground and then just place them down so they're not gripping onto your mat for dear life. Yeah, my toes do that too. Hands to heart center, twist to the right. So everybody has a block. Block on the inside of your right ankle for your left fingertips and then right hand up to the sky. Choose a higher setting than you normally would so you've got a lot of space for your entire torso to ring out to the yellow wall. I want your whole belly off of your thigh. Lots of space. Reach through your fingertips a lot and then reestablish this. So even if you never use a block here, think about the structure in your pose. You're going for a long spine, a long torso, so you can pull the whole thing in and ring it out to the yellow wall. Take another inhale, get long, twist on your exhale. Twist, 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 twist. Come back up to crescent lunge, lift up high. Warrior 2, open up to the purple wall. Take up a lot of space in your warrior 2. Reach through your fingertips with a purpose. Like you're going to touch the person behind you and touch the person in front of you. And then it got quiet, so restart your breath. There's no rush to get to the next pose. No rush. Slide the tops of your shoulder blades down into your back so your arms can do the work and your collarbones can get wider. Now stay in your lunge, flip your front palm, reach forward, reverse. Long side waist. So go for length in both side waists. If you can reach really far back but it's crunching your left side waist, get longer. Yeah, get longer and then lunge a little bit deeper. Beautiful. Add more breath. Pick your lowest belly in and up so you can send your tailbone down to the ground, even here. Reach up and back and straighten your front leg. Get really long. Land in warrior two. Deep lunge. Extended side angle with your right hand on a block. Bring your hand on the inside of your ankle, hand on a block. So whether you're super flexy or not, this gives you a little bit of extra space so you can lengthen out your right side waist and focus more on your lunge or more on your reaching arm. Send your top arm to where the wall and ceiling meet in front. So you've got a long line of energy from your fingertips down to the back edge of your foot. And now if the inside of your right leg isn't doing any work, squeeze it into the side of your forearm. And squeeze your forearm back into your leg. Keep breathing. Go for a lot of length so you can reach your heart up to the ceiling, super long. One more inhale. Chaturanga, hands to the floor. Upward facing dog, keep your navel in. Downward facing dog, press your hips back. Breathe in together. Breathe out together. You guys warm yet? Breathe in. Breathe out. One more, fill up. Empty all the way out. Send your left leg up to the sky. That's the magic about having a hot studio. It doesn't matter what time of year it is, I'm always warm. Flex your foot a lot. Yeah, and then work on squaring your hips so you create that structure. Nice. So both hips face the floor and your inner thighs are active. Breathe in together here. Knee to nose on your exhale. Squeeze it in, round your spine. Press your foot back, inhale, press, press, press. Knee to nose. Nice, use your low belly. Last one, send your foot back. Knee to nose, squeeze it in. Place your foot, crescent lunge. You're doing awesome, rise up. This is my favorite part of this series, all the lunges, the vitality series, the one that wakes you up and gets everything on fire. Who doesn't want more of that in their life? Stack your back heel over the ball of your back foot. And that may mean that you need to take a little bit of a wider stance, like scoot your front foot forward a little bit more so you can stack your heel and come into a deep lunge at the same time. So both legs are doing work for you. Beautiful. Add more breath before you twist. There it is. Hands to heart center, twist left. So right hand down to a block on the inside of your ankle, left hand up to the sky. So block has 3 different settings, and you can play around with those different settings, but I like it on the tallest one, so my whole torso, even my navel, can come into the twist. Left hand up to the sky. Beautiful. Belly in, ribs in. You can even send your tailbone back to your right heel. Your tailbone back to your heel. Keep breathing. Front big toe way down into the ground. Come back up to crescent on an inhale, lift up high. Warrior two, face the early bird special. Awesome breath, guys. I say awesome and you guys make it louder, I love that. Lunge a little bit deeper, knee over your ankle. No, that's good. That's like the energy in the class, that's the flow. You get to ride the wave that way, and your class gets easier, your practice gets easier. Flip your front palm, reach forward, reverse it. So a long right side waist. Of course your left side waist is long because you're reaching back, long right side waist. And then here you lift your left toes off the ground, drive your left heel down into the ground so you can lift your toes and then just place them down. Beautiful. Reach back, straighten, long, long, long. Warrior two. Extended side angle, left hand on the inside on a block. On a block. You get to choose the setting, reach through your fingertips, get long in your side waist. So for some of you, you can lunge a little bit deeper and stack your knee over your ankle because leaning forward means that you straightened your front leg. So just make an adjustment. Then bring your breath back into it. Just a little bit more. Yeah, right there. And then hug your forearm to the inside of your leg. Hug them together like they're resisting each other and you're not going to let either of them win. Keep breathing. Yeah. Got one more inhale. Long as you can get. Hands to the floor. Chaturanga. The block, holding you accountable for structure. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in through your nose. Out through your mouth. Oh, awesome. Breathe in. Let it out. One more. Fill up. Empty all the way out. Step or jump, feet to hands. Halfway lifts. Bow down. Chair pose, sit back and reach. Reach, reach, reach. Lots of breath. This is a fun pose. It's everyone's favorite pose, right? So breathe a lot, just in case it's not your neighbor's favorite pose. I know it's your favorite pose, but maybe the person next to you is not a really big fan. Yeah, keep your breath going. Hands to heart center, twist right. Anchor your elbow, get the twist happening. Then bring your left hand down to the block on the floor, right hand up to the sky. So the block can be on the outside of your leg or it can be right in front of your toes. You choose. Right hand up to the sky. So you're going for structure, for a long spine. And so your whole spine can be part of the twist. Bring this forward like that. Yeah, and tuck it down. Beautiful. Sit a little bit deeper and pull your left hip back. So both hips face the back wall. Like you could sit on the wall behind you. You're doing great. Stay with it. Lift your toes off the mat. Come back up to chair pose. One inhale. Light, light, light. Forward fold. Separate your feet and take your first two fingers around your big toes. In a mini halfway lift, lengthen out your spine with soft knees. Like as long as you can get it, but your knees are still bent, then draw your heart to your shins. Lots of breath here. Let your head hang. Definitely let your head hang. You can shake it out, yes and no. Are your feet still at 12 o'clock? Can you line them up now? So the outer edges of your feet are parallel with the outer edges of your mat. All right, take your block in your left hand and put it like a little bit off to like a few inches away from your left foot. So it's kind of off of your mat. And then your right fingertips stay around your right big toe. Lift your right leg straight out to the yellow wall. Straight out. And lucky for you, you can probably rest your heel on your neighbor and they can do the work for you. Yeah, lift your leg up and like, hey, thanks friend, thank you so much. Use your block, use your core, pull your belly way in so your hip gets lighter. Take one more breath, lift up, up, up. Release it down, shake out your hips. Oh. Put your block in your right hand. Block in your right hand. Maybe you change the setting and make it a little higher this time. Fingertips around your left big toe. Open up to the left. Lift your leg up to the left. Beautiful. So maybe your friend's there to help you out. Maybe you're there to help them out. Nice, Michelle. Right up there. It feels so good when you rest it on your friend's back. It's like, oh, thank God. Take one more breath. Lift it up. Forward fold. Shake it out. Ugh. Bring your feet back together. Big toes touch. Space between your heels. Halfway lift. Soft knees. Fold down. Chair pose. Utkatasana. So you got the outside edges of your hips working for you. Sit really low down. Down, down, down into your chair. And then sit tall in your torso. So your hips stay low, but your heart could reach out the windows if you wanted it to. Now hands to heart center, twist left. Lots of breath, lots of breath. Right hand down to your block, either on the outside of your left foot or in front of your toes, left hand up to the sky. Keep breathing. So you've got that extra space now and you can wring out your entire spine. Definitely add more breath, it needs it. It's a tough pose, give it breath. Give it the flow. Then come back up to chair pose, one inhale, light chest, forward fold. Awesome, separate your feet and step on your palms, gorilla. All the way under there, so toes all the way up to your wrists, no matter how deep you need to bend your knees and let your head hang. You can wiggle your toes around on your wrists and give them a massage. Wiggle some things around. And just notice that it's starting to get a little quiet. Come back to your breath. Back to it again and again. Because if you have that breath going fluid now, when you get to later in your practice where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I can't do this, you can because your breath has been sustaining you the whole time. And release your hands and take crow pose. Do crow up at the head of your mat so you can practice jumping back to chaturanga. And before you say, I don't do that, you do today. It's just going to happen today. So you're just doing crow at the head of your mat, all of your fingertips in the mat, and then tuck your knees as close as you can up into your armpits. So this isn't about how high you can get your feet off the ground or if you can get both feet off the ground. This is about the structure and the lightness in your upper body. Your ribs knit together, your low belly in and up, way to the front back side of your spine, way up to the ceiling. Okay, you ready? Look forward and jump back. Shoot your legs back. Float them back. Yes. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. It just happens. It's just like that. It already happened. Breathe in. Breathe out. Big breath in. Empty out. One more. Fill up. Empty all the way out. Step or jump. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Bow down. Press into your feet. With soft knees, come up to standing. Soft knees. Use your feet. Press up, up, up. Hands up to the ceiling. Right side eagle. Right arm under. Right leg over. Come back to your breath. Is your neighbor breathing? Is the friend next to you breathing? Help them out. That's what you're there for, to support them so they can support you when you're having a tough time, when you need a little extra help. Keep your eyes attached to your focal point and take airplane. Send your right leg back. Reach your arms behind you. Go as slow as you need to make it smooth. There's no rush to land an airplane. Eagle's just as important. Flex your lifted foot a lot and drive it to the back of the room. Then you can play around with the structure of the pose. Turn the outer edge of your right hip down. Nice, Jess. Pull your belly in. Yep. Hands to heart center. Keep your low belly in. Half moon. Left hand down to your block. So whether you love or hate the block in half moon, take the block right now. We're building structure in your half moon, so I want your left side waist to be really long on your block. Really long. Flex your foot up to the sky and bring your navel into the front side of your spine. And now that you have all those tools working for you, you have your whole body working for you, you can get light on your block and just hover your fingertips over your block. Or bring your left hand up to your heart because you built the structure first. Keep reaching the crown of your head to the front of the room. Beautiful. Take one more breath. Open up, forward fold. Shake it out, rock your hips around. Rise up to standing. Hands up to the sky, big toes in the earth. Left side eagle, left arm under, left leg over. Then you show up for the person next to you. Show up for the people in this room and breathe. Show up for yourself and let your whole body be part of this pose. Shoulder blades together on your back. Make them kiss your spine. Airplane, slow as you need to. So you can keep your eyes focused on that one spot. That'll help your balance a lot. Beautiful. Like you're moving underwater. Then work on the structure, outer edge of your left hip down towards the floor. It helps to have a soft standing knee so you've got some wiggle room in your balance to turn your hip down. If your knee's locked, it makes it really challenging. Soften it and turn the outer edge of your hip down. Now hands to heart center, pick up your low belly, half moon. Right hand down to a block, left hand up to the sky. So you start with the block first so it's not like you're hanging down, like you really need to touch the floor. You don't. You don't. Build the structure first. And then when it gets really light, when your whole body is lifting up and out, then you take your fingertips off your block. Then you hover them just above. Beautiful. Wake up your top fingertips. Yeah, one more breath. Forward fold. Lots of structure. Rock out your hips. Rock it out. Good times. Rise up to standing. Hands up to the ceiling. Right side eagle, second set. Some of you are getting to that point where you're like, I can't do this. My mind's taking me somewhere else. Stay here. That's where the work is. It's easy to step in. You're like, yeah, sun salutations, and you power through, and then you get to bouncing, and you're like, I'm kind of tired now, though. That's the space where change happens. Not when you've got all this energy and everything's happy and sunshine and rainbows, but when you're tired and you're up against your edge and you don't feel like you can go again. Left hand to your left hip, right hand to your right raised knee. Right raised knee. So even if you can take your foot, stick with your knee this morning, and then flex your lifted foot. Pull your thigh bone back into the socket, like your hip is going to go back to the person behind you. Open up to the right, and reach to the left. You can definitely help your neighbor out and help hold their knee for them. can help hold their knee. Keep your lifted foot flexed. Pull your navel way in and up. Come back through center, switch hands. Left hand on your knee, reach your right arm behind you, dancing Shiva. Same idea, your right thigh bone into the socket. Pull it to the wall behind you. So your knee is still facing straight to the windows and your torso does the twist. Your low belly does the twist. Come back to center, place your foot down. Awesome, hands up to the sky. Left side eagle, let the sweat drip. Left arm under, left leg over. Every time you sweat, you're peeling off all that extra crap that we like to carry around. Get rid of that. It's heavy, you don't want it anyway. It's like all old stuff. It's not you anymore. It was never you to begin with, but you decided to carry it around because it was comfortable. Don't carry it around anymore, be light. Right hand, right hip, left hand, left raised knee. So activate your foot, activate your leg so much that your fingertips are just a suggestion, like you could let go of your knee right now and your leg would stay in the same position. Yeah. Open to the left, reach to the right. Maybe you help out your neighbor if they're close enough. And by help, I don't mean push your neighbor over. That's what my husband does when we practice next to each other. Okay, low belly in and up, come back through center and dancing Shiva. Left arm behind you. Add more breath. It's okay to come up against your edge. It's okay to be comfortable. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's all the same thing. Nice, back to center. Place your foot down. Rock out your hips if you need to. Standing bow on the right side. So even if you have a strap, take standing bow for the first one. So right hand on the inside of your ankle with the soft crease of your elbow facing out, and then pause when you've got that grip. Squeeze your inner thighs together so you can level your hips. Square your hips to the front of the room. Now left hand up to the sky. Keep your hips square. Tip forward as much as you can. So if it feels like your right hip is starting to open up to the ceiling, stop right there and work on squaring your hips. Work on the structure, not like, oh, look how pretty and wide open and crazy this pose looks. Go for the structure. Beautiful. Keep breathing. Softness in your standing knee. Press your big toe down. Got one more breath. Lift your heart. Switch sides. Flow right over. Soft crease of your elbow out. So start with the inner thighs. Squeeze them together like they're wrapping together and behind you. And then take your pose. Together like magnets. So your lifted knee points straight to the back of the room. A few of you have knees that are going out to the left a bit. Point it straight to the back of the room. Awesome. One more breath. Release. Second set, right side. If you have a strap and want to take dancers, go ahead. Otherwise, standing bow. Go. So no matter what pose you take, work on that structure. Your inner thighs squeeze together so you can send your tailbone to the back of the room. Send your knee to the back of the room. Be light. Shoulder blades together on your back. They're just along for the ride, so they're not working really hard right now. They're along for the ride so they can open up. One more breath. Release. Switch sides. If your heart is racing, that's okay. You'll get to the pause. Go to the left side. There's always a time for pause. You do the work and then you get the pause. If you do kind of half pause, half work the whole time, nothing's ever going to change because you're landing in the same space over and over. Knee straight back, outer edge of your left hip down. Nice, just soften your knee just a little bit. Yeah. Got one more breath. Wide open heart. Release. Feet hip width distance at the head of your mat and sink your feet down into the floor. So both feet face forward at 12 o'clock and then give a little bit of extra bend to your knees. Yeah, so all of your weight can go down into your heels, down into your toes. Reconnect. Connect to your breath, make it loud. Just be right here. Right here is perfect exactly as it is. Take right side tree pose, right foot above or below your left knee. Hands start to your heart. So pick your focal point, that spot on the front wall or out across the road. And interlace your fingers, press your palms toward the windows and up to the ceiling. So this will look a little different for everybody in the room. If you're pretty flexible on your shoulders, you can keep your arms straight. If it feels like you're wearing your shoulders like earrings, bend your elbows so you can drop them down. Yeah, like if you can't hear what I'm saying because your shoulders are so far in your ears, bend your elbows. All 5 toes of your standing foot in the floor. And walk your eyes up the front wall. Take a risk. Walk your eyes up and back like your heart is pulling up to the ceiling. Your eyes are pulling your whole chest up to the ceiling. Release, switch sides. So anywhere but on your knee joint's a good place, and hands start at heart center. Interlace your fingers the opposite way, opposite pinky finger on top, hands up to the sky. So what are your hips up to here? For a lot of you, your knee will be facing like up towards the corner of the room instead of straight out to the left, and that's fine. Work on making them level. So dropping your left hip down just a little bit so it's even with the right. Yeah, beautiful. Ribs together. One more breath. Lift yourself up. Release. Feet together at the head of your mat. Feet at 12 o'clock. Inhale, reach your hands high. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, stretch out long. Soft knees, chaturanga. Step or jump back. Upward facing dog, make a wide open chest. Downward facing dog, lift your hips. Lion's breath, breathe in. Ooh, that was a good one. Breathe in. Take one more breath in. Right foot warrior 1. Step forward, rise up. Rise up. So land in your warrior 1. This one's a little more juicy, and now you can work on squaring your left hip to the front of the room. Do your best to pull that forward and press the outer edge of your left foot down into the ground at the same time. So it's like your outer ankle on your left foot is puffing up to the wall behind you. Now lunge a little bit deeper. Yeah, keep breathing. Low belly, way in and up so you can send your tailbone down to the ground. Warrior 2, open up. Lots of space. The same idea with your back foot here. The outer edge of your ankle, the outer part of your left ankle reaches toward the wall behind you. So you've got a lot of lift in your back leg. More breath. Lots more breath. Flip your front palm, reach forward, reverse the warrior. This time, take your left arm behind your back, around the back of your waist, or maybe your fingertips to your hip crease in front. And then use that arm to gauge whether or not your butt's sticking out to the person behind you, or if you can tip it down towards the ground. You tip your tailbone down towards the ground. Then heart up to the ceiling. Tailbone down, heart up. Nice. Reach back and straighten your front leg. Lots of length. Move to triangle. Reach your hand to the windows. Hand onto a block on the outside of your shin. Start with the highest setting on your block. The really tall one. Start with that one first. Left hand up to the sky. Nice. So you've got all kinds of space for your right side waist. And triangle's not so much about how low you can get your hand to the ground and whether or not you can, whatever. You want the structure of the pose, the long lines the pose has to offer. Create more breath. Front big toe down into the floor. Way down into the floor. So with both side waists really long, use your top hand to rise all the way up to standing. Really long, all the way up. Turn your toes to face the purple wall so your feet are parallel. Hands on your hips. Mind your neighbor's bum. Lift your heart up to the sky. Hinge down. So you have to do the side swoop thing to get around them. And hands down to the floor. Soften your knees. So a little bit, like not just a little micro bend, but pretty soft in your knees, a pretty good deep bend in your knees, and then send your tailbone up to the sky. Now's the time for breath. If your head can come way down to the ground, bring your feet closer together so it just barely touches the ground. That'll give more space for your spine to lengthen out. It got really quiet, so everyone start breathing again. And bring your hands back towards your feet so your fingertips are in line with your big toes. Plant your palms on the mat. Yeah, tailbone up to the sky even more. It's all right, it may feel a little bit awkward. Tailbone up to the sky. Trust that your feet will support you. Bend your knees a little bit more. Yeah. How's your low belly? What's it up to? Pull it in. Now with your knees bent, bring your hands to your hips and hinge up to standing with a long spine. A long flat back, like you can't even bend it. Whoo, turn your feet to face the front of the room. So hands are still on your hips, feet to face the front of the room. So you're in a little baby warrior one stance. You want enough distance between your front and back foot that you need to use your inner thighs to square your hips to the front, because when they're really close together, there's nothing happening. And then hinge down. Bring your heart to your shins. Come back into your breath. It's been really powerful all class. Keep it going. You can go all the way to the end with your breath, because it'll help you out. It'll help you out when you get to back bends. It'll help you out by the time you get to Shavasana. It's going to be awesome. So soften your toes. Then pull the bottom edge of your right butt cheek to the back of the room. That's where the top of your hamstring attaches. Pull it straight back. So it's not just your left hip, or not just your right hip. It's right below your right butt cheek. That goes straight to the back of the room. Nice. Left hand on your block on the highest setting. So it's either right in front of your foot or a little bit on the inside of your ankle. So your block's on the highest setting, right arm straight out from your shoulder. Straight out, like you're going to pat your neighbor on your shoulder, on their shoulder. So look at your arm. Are you patting their butt or their shoulder? Straight out, and then twist from your torso open. Block on the highest setting so that you can really get all the length out of your spine and twist everything out. Keep breathing. So every inhale, get longer. Every exhale, twist. Nice. One more. Get long. Twist on your exhale. Twist, 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 twist. Chaturanga. Like an owl. Hands to the floor. Step back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Breathe out. Good. Breathe in. Let down dog be restful. Breathe out. One more. Fill up. Empty all the way out. Left foot warrior one. Step and rise up. Breath still flows. Stay with it. It's that time in your practice where you're like, okay, I'm good. Like, I want to be done now. I don't want to focus on this breath anymore. Keep focusing on your breath. Keep doing it. Can you square your hips to the front of the room a little bit more? Now that your hips are opening up, your legs are working for you, right hip forward, outer edge of your right foot, down into the floor. So it's equal and opposite. They're pulling away from one another. Reach a little bit higher in your fingertips. Yeah, warrior two, open up. Guys look awesome. Lunge down deep. Tailbone straight down to the floor. Flip your front palm, reach forward, reverse the warrior. Right arm behind your back, so you can use that as a guide and see if your tailbone's sticking to the person behind you or if you can send it straight down. Straight down. Nice, add more breath. Pull this way in and up, drop your tailbone down. Yeah, like that. Now reach back and straighten your front leg. Triangle. Left hand down to your block on the highest setting on the outside of your leg. I want everyone in here to learn that the block is not a crutch. It's a really helpful tool. It can actually make your practice more involved and deeper because it's keeping you in the proper structure of all of these poses that you're working on. Going for structure, go for a long left side waist. So take your left hip crease and send it to the back edge of your mat so it's even longer. Then reach your heart up to the ceiling. Reach the crown of your head to the front of the room. Use your top hand and draw yourself all the way up to standing. Super long side waist. Turn your feet to face the yellow wall. Interlace your fingers at your low back. If you like to take a strap or a towel between your hands, that's available for you as well. So toes face the yellow wall. Some of you have your toes out wider. Bring them in at least parallel, if not pigeon-toed. Hinge down. Let your hands spill overhead. It's okay if you tap your neighbor's butt. They won't mind. No big deal. Softness in your knees. Bend your knees and use that as the balance for you to tip your tailbone up to the sky. So the more you bend your knees, the more space you create in your hamstring to tip your tailbone straight up. So then your shoulder blades can just do whatever they need to do to open up. And you focus on soft knees and a tailbone that points straight up. Nice. Keep breathing. Where's the weight in your feet right now? Can you even out the weight so it's not all in your toes? Release your hands down. Let them come down to the floor. With bent knees, hands on hips, rise all the way up to standing. And turn your feet to face the front of the room. So take up more space than you think you need so you can use your inner thighs to square your hips forward. Then hinge down. Like you have the intention to hook your chin on your big toe. So somebody show me that. Nice. Your square hips, your left hip to the back of the room. That space right underneath your left butt cheek, straight to the back of the room. We're going to bring this foot right here, up here. Yeah. Keep breathing. Pull your belly in to support your low back so your spine can get longer. Right hand on your block on the highest setting, left arm out to the side. So check in with your hand, because it may feel like you're over your neighbor's shoulder, but then you look back and you're like, whoa, what's my hand doing? Over your neighbor's shoulder, now twist out. So it's not about how high up you can get your arm, it's about your whole abdomen being in the twist. The whole thing wringing out. 2 flat feet on the earth, press them down, then lengthen out into your twist. So your right side waist gets just as much twist as the left. Take one more breath in, lengthen, twist on your exhale, twist, 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 hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, open your chest, open your heart, downward facing dog. Breathe in through your nose, sigh it out. Awesome, breath in. Take one more breath in. Roll out to a high plank. Come onto the balls of your feet. Roll out, roll out, roll out. Shoulders stacked on top of your wrist. A little valley between your shoulder blades so you can press your heart forward between your arms. Reach your heart forward. And lower all the way to the mat. Heart forward, heart forward, heart forward, all the way down. Yeah, palms face down, back by your hips for locust pose. So untuck your toes. And press the tops of your feet down into the mat. So your feet are active first. Press the tops of your feet down so much that your hamstrings start to activate and lift up to the sky. So it doesn't mean squeeze your butt, it just means that your hamstrings are active. Now lift your chest up, lift your palms up, and keep your chin tucked so your neck can be part of your spine. Yeah. So locust is all about length. Not about how high up you can get, but how long you can get. Tops of the feet into the ground, into the ground. Yeah. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Relax your butt cheeks. One more lift. Release. Face toward the right. Turn your head to face the right. Or the left. You can say hi to your neighbor. Rock out your hips side to side. Take another locust pose. Interlace your fingers at your low back. So you have the option to keep your feet pressing into the ground, or you can lift them up with you. Rise up, lift your chest up. Use your hands to draw your shoulder blades down and back. You can even use your hands to check out and see if you're squeezing your butt cheeks together, or see if your tailbone's up to the sky. Send it back towards your heels. Tailbone back towards your heels. Keep breathing. How long can you get here? Be an inch taller by the time you step off your mat. One more breath. Release. Turn your head to face the other way you were just facing. Rock your hips back and forth, release your low back a little bit. Floor bow, bend your knees, grab a hold of the outside of your ankles. Outside of your ankles, then flex your feet a lot. Now just like standing bow, draw your inner thighs together so it's like you're in a narrow hallway. So your knees have the same distance between them as your thighs do. Rise up, lift your chest. Up, 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 feet up to the ceiling. You can definitely take one side at a time if you want because we're taking two. So tailbone back towards your knees, straight back, just like your knees. Inner thighs together so you don't need to squeeze your butt. Take one more breath, lift your chest, release. Knees side to side like windshield wipers, give them a break. And then one more floor bow. So you have options, hands on the outsides of your ankle or hands on the inside of your ankle. So if you're choosing the inside, your thumbs face up to the ceiling like hitchhiker thumbs. So you want the soft crease of your elbow to face out. So thumbs up to the ceiling if you're taking the inner ankle. Rise up. Shar, come down, switch your hands so your thumbs are facing up. Thumbs facing up, up, up. Around this way. Yeah. Keep breathing. Flex your feet up to the ceiling. Then inner thighs together so you don't have to squeeze your butt. Take one more breath in. Wide open chest. Release. Knees side to side. Plant your palms by your lower ribs. We'll take a slow upward facing dog, but backwards. So listen, start with the tops of your feet in the ground. We're not an upward facing dog yet. Tops of your feet press into the ground. Press down a lot, a lot, a lot. Then activate your calves, calves up to the ceiling. Hamstrings up to the ceiling. Send your tailbone back towards your heels, and now come up to upward facing dog. So your legs drive the motion. Your legs are what's doing the work here. Soften your elbows, micro bend in your elbows, keep breathing. Hamstrings up, up, up. Low belly, way in and up. Now downward facing dog. Whew. One's a little harder when you don't lock your elbows. Take a breath in. Let it out, be easy. Good, breath in. Breath out. One more in, fill up. Empty out. Come through to sit, staff pose. Take your water bottle towel break. Legs straight out in front. And after everyone's taking a drink break, come back to your breath. Sit tall on your spine, back to your breath. Make your collarbones super wide. So reach them straight to the left and straight to the right. And you can certainly bend your knees if you've got tight hamstrings so that you can sit up taller instead of having your legs straight out. Now reach your arms to the bricks. Keep your collarbones wide and lower your back to the mat. One piece at a time. Collarbones stay wide, so it'll start to get trickier the lower you get to the floor. Collarbones really wide, heart open, all the way down. Nice. Bend your knees and plant your feet on the earth. Block between your thighs for bridge pose. Lock between your thighs for bridge. So it's probably on the second setting. Probably on the second setting, maybe the first setting. Definitely not the widest one because no one's hips are that wide. Okay, press your feet into the ground, lift your hips up and squeeze on your block. Squeeze on the block. Lift your hips a little bit higher. Now everyone start breathing. You're almost there. Keep your breath going all the way to the end. All the way to the end. Committed to your practice, committed to staying in your body. So when your mind is like, wow, okay, I'm good. Let's go somewhere else now. Stay here. Big toes down into the floor. One more breath. Lift up. Release. Lower your hips down. Take your knees side to side. You can move the block out of the way to do that. And we'll do a second bridge with the block so you can change the setting if that one didn't feel quite right for you. So block between your thighs. Press into your feet and rise up. So it's a little tricky to see if your feet are straight ahead at 12 o'clock here. Do the best you can. So your big toes are closer in together. The outer edges of your feet are parallel with the edges of your mat. Press way down into your feet, into your big toes, into the inner ankle. Press it down. Press it down and back into the floor. Take one more breath. Lift your chest, lift your hips. Release. Knees side to side. Going for wheel pose with the block in between your thighs. Place the block. You guys are like not excited about wheel. It's wheel pose! Block between your thighs. Tuck your fingertips under your shoulders and go up. Go up, go up. Woohoo, it's wheel. Yes! And maybe you're still in bridge. Awesome, stay in bridge. Keep breathing. So everybody's in the pose that you've chosen, bridge or wheel, for 3 breaths. 3 big breaths. So you've got lots of space now. Send your tailbone towards your knees. Tailbone towards your knees. Then tuck your chin and come down. You're gonna have to get way more excited than that, or wheel pose is gonna be hard. Knees side to side. It's super heavy when you're like, oh, I don't wanna do this. Second wheel, go. Don't even give yourself an option. Don't give your mind the opportunity to say, I'm too tired, or I'm too sweaty, or I just don't wanna do that again. Go. You go. And it doesn't matter if you choose to do bridge or you choose to do a modification. That's not the important part, because you're still in your practice if you do that. It's when you take yourself totally out and you're just kind of hanging out on your mat and not doing anything, that's when you're out. Be here. One more breath. Tuck your chin, come back down. Louder breath, knees side to side. You're almost there. Go again. So this last one, you have the option. You can have block between your thighs or without the block between your thighs. Keep that structure. Inner thighs pulled together. Rise up. Rise up. Make your legs the most powerful part of this pose. Inner thighs together. Tailbone towards your knees. Breathe in. Breathe out. 2 more loud breaths. In and out. Toes on the mat. 1 more breath. Tuck your chin and come down. Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together. Knees open wide. Soles of the feet together, knees open wide. Rest your hands wherever you want to rest them. Overhead, on your hips, whatever sounds good right now. Keep your breath flowing. Let it flow. Draw your knees back together, hug them into your chest, give yourself a hug. Squeeze your knees into your chest. You can make tiny circles or rock back and forth. Send your legs straight up into the air. Block on its second setting between your calves. Second setting. So you're squeezing in on your block and your legs are straight up to the sky. Flex your feet. Second setting. Some of you are on the first setting and your legs are a little too close together. Yeah, second setting. Squeeze it in a lot. Lucky you guys who have the cork or bamboo blocks. Flex your feet. Bring your legs down 30 degrees. You can tuck your fingertips under your butt for more support. Flexed feet, flexed feet. Send your big toes away, your pinky toes back towards your face. Another 30 degrees. So your block should be between your calves so your legs can be long and narrow and straight. Another 30, hover them just above the ground. Press through your heels, navel into the floor. Legs back up, squeeze your block, take it up with you. That's the tricky part. Yeah, adjust your block if you need to, especially if it's cork. I don't want it bonking you in the head. And 30 degrees. Press your big toes away, your pinky toes back towards your face. Another 30. Whoop, keep breathing. Relax your face. Hover your feet just above the ground. Long legs. Reach them away. Legs back up in the air. Squeeze the block on the way up. You've got 1 more set. Flex your feet. 30 degrees. Squeeze in on it. 30 degrees. Inner thighs working for you. Building a container. Building structure. Another 30. Some of you are already there. And hover just above the ground. As long as you possibly can. Press through your big toes. Press, press, press. Legs in the air, remove your block, knees into your chest. Ugh. so much more fun with the cork or bamboo. You rock back and forth. Now rise up, or rock back and forth 3 times and rise up into boat pose. Give you 3 rocks on your spine. So you've got that container and that structure of your inner thighs and your low belly now. So use it in boat pose. Navel into the front side of your spine, long spine, lift it up and out, like your spine's growing out of your pelvis and up to the ceiling. Beautiful, keep breathing. Flex your feet a lot, big toes away, pinky toes towards your face. Relax your face, lots of squinchy faces. Breathe in, back and forth 3 times, take boat pose. It's harder when you scrunch up your face. A second set of boat, Navasana, go. Yeah, up, 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 like there's a string attached to your heart and it's pulling straight up to the ceiling. Beautiful, big toes away, pinky toes towards your face. You're doing awesome, 1 more breath. Rock back and forth 3 times. Got 1 more boat pose. 1 more Navasana, rise up, make it the best one. Stay in it, stay in the hard work. Stay in the work. Lift your heart way up, like there's a fingertip behind your heart and it's pressing way up between your shoulder blades. 1 more breath, rock back and forth and make your way to downward facing dog. So you can shoot back, you can walk yourself back, make your way to down dog. I'm just letting you rock to give you momentum to get back there. Momentum to your water bottle, apparently. Downward facing dog. And bring your right knee to your right wrist for half pigeon. Right knee to right wrist. Put your block underneath your right hip. So even if you're super flexy, you're like, I totally don't need a block under my right hip, just humor me, block under your right hip. So that way you can work on squaring your left hip down towards the floor. So both of your hips face the floor equally. And then walk yourself down. You're working on structure. Structure in your half pigeon. So when you get down towards the floor, does it feel like one hip is higher than the other? Can you make a little adjustment? Make that happen. Right there. Now's a good time for breath. When you're physically tired, it makes your brain a little bit more tired, so you've got some wiggle room and some space between your thoughts. So now's a great time to create patterns of creating space between your thoughts. So it's not important what's going in and out of your head right now. It's important that you notice that something's coming, you pause, take a breath, and then let the next thing come. There's no attachment to any of them. So each time you find yourself wandering off on a trail of thought, you bring it back with your breath. And the nice thing about developing that kind of habit is that you can do it off your mat. So when you're sitting at your desk and you're super pissed at somebody and your mind's racing to all these different things, you tether your breath back into your body. Just like that. Downward facing dog, shake it out. Move your hip around any way you need to. And bring your left knee to your left hip, or left hip. Wow, that'd be fancy. Left knee to left wrist. Whew. I don't know anyone that flexible. Block underneath your left hip. I'm getting crazy here this morning. Block underneath your hips so your hips are level, and you can send your tailbone to your back heel. Tailbone to your back heel, then walk yourself down towards the ground. Super long spine, super long side waist. And really listen to what's happening in your body. Does it feel like one hip is higher up than the other? Even if it's a tiny bit, go for the structure and make them level. You're fine. Your mind steps out and you stay right here in your breath, right here in your body. Lots of really level hips, guys. Good job with the blocks. Downward facing dog, shake it out. Take a long breath into your nose. Let it out through your mouth. That was good. One more. Breathe in, empty it out. And come down to your knees and face the yellow wall for frog pose. Take your block with you. What? Yeah, frog pose. So roll up the end of your mat so it can cushion one of your knees. And then you want your knee that is off of your mat so it can slide out on a towel. And if you need a towel, wave me down. I can get you an extra towel. So take your time to set up. You've got plenty of time. There's no rush to get into it. So one knee is on the rolled up piece of mat and the other knee is on a towel or a shirt or a little, like some kind of fabric that'll help you slide out. And you want your block so you can either rest your chest on it or rest your forehead on it. So if this bothers your knees at all, like it's just too much on your knees, you can take the exact same pose on your back with your feet against the wall for resistance. Yeah, wiggle your way down to the ground. So your hips are already a little bit open from the half pigeon. Awesome. Now they're going to be more open for frog. So you want everything at 90-90. Make sure your feet are flexed so your ankles are at 90 degrees. Yeah, and your knees are bent so your calves are at 90 degrees. Parallel with one another. You can love tap your neighbor, that's okay. We're nice and snuggly in here this morning. So those of you who are pretty flexy, make sure that you keep your navel way in so your back is long and straight instead of sway back. You want a long, straight back. So those difficult times when you forget to breathe and things seem like they're a lot harder than they actually are, now is one of those times. Don't forget about your really helpful tool when you need it the most. Long, easy breath, and when your mind's telling you, I gotta get out of here, you just stay. You make a commitment to stay. I have a 100% track record of no one's legs falling off in this pose, so you'll be fine. Just a little bit longer. Focus on the structure of what's happening in your body. The 90-degree angles, the long tabletop spine, your easy breath. You're almost there. Keep breathing. Think of it not like a pose that you're forcing yourself to endure, but you're enjoying the ride. Whatever it has to offer, you're just enjoying the ride. Now to come out of frog pose, listen, walk yourself forward until your hips touch the ground. You just crawl forward until your hips touch the ground, and then bring your legs back together. Oh. Come back onto your mat. Happy Sunday, hips. Woo! All right. Come back onto your mat into staff pose. Y'all, that closed hip, your hips really like to be open after all that. So a long, tall spine, legs straight out in front, flex your feet. Oh, no, you're fine, go ahead. Then reach your arms out in front, you're welcome. And slowly lower your back to the mat. Big toes away, pinky toes toward your face. And legs up in the air, get upside down. Viparita Karani with a block under your low back. Everybody's got a block, so you can take that for a test drive. Might be nice just to stick with that today. There's shoulder stand available. I would go into plow pose before shoulder stand, so you've got time to get your hands on your low back and really get stacked. So you're upside down. You're getting towards the end of your practice, but that doesn't mean check out mentally. Definitely means stay here. Now's the time to stay here. Now that you've cleared all this space, be right here. Active feet up to the ceiling. Even if you're moving your legs around, keep your feet super active. Shoulder stance move to plow. Long spine, tailbone up to the sky. So however bent you need to make your knees to send your tailbone up to the sky. In deaf man's pose, bend your knees and gently squeeze the sides of your head. Coil in, keep your breath flowing all the way to the end. And hands to the mat and use them like brakes so you can unravel your spine to the earth, one piece at a time. Bring your knees into your chest, give them a squeeze. Rock around. Now take your knees over to the right and look left, supine twist. And scoot your bottom butt cheek closer towards the purple wall so that your hips are stacked. It'll make for a whole spinal twist instead of just the top part. Take your knees over to the left and look right. Bottom hip towards the yellow wall. Lots of breath into your side waist, a long line from your hip up to your shoulder. Bring your knees back to center. Give them one final squeeze. Hug in. Squeeze in, in, in. Shavasana. Everyone has a cool stone by one of the upper corners of your mat, or maybe on the side. I was trying to guess where your mat unrolled from frog pose. So take a few moments to land in Shavasana. Give it the same amount of prep that you would another pose, so let your feet relax out to either side. Purposefully place your hands with your palms facing up to the ceiling. And let even your rib cage melt down into the ground, down into your torso. So you can place that cold stone wherever you want or not. It's up to you. And for the next few minutes, nothing to do, nowhere to go. You've already built the structure. You've done all the work. Let your body soak it up. Take a long breath in through your nose. Long breath out through your mouth. Another long breath in. Squeeze your fingertips and your toes, and then let it go through your mouth. Plant your feet on the earth and rock onto your right side. Take a moment to pause and really melt into your mat. Let your practice come full circle. And with your eyes still closed, press down and rise up. Take a comfortable seat. Tall, straight spine that grows up out of your pelvis, all the way up to the ceiling. Inhale, reach your hands overhead. Exhale, thumbs to your heart. We'll finish our class together with 3 Oms. Just roll them together. So as soon as you finish your first one, go right into your second one. Take a deep breath in. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. The light within me honors and greatly respects the light within each and every one of you. Namaste. Namaste. Awesome class, guys. Thanks for coming. So, 40 days, talk to me about it if you're not signed up already. And also, next week, make sure that you're coming to the Turkey Twist-Off, which is on Black Friday from 10 to 12. It's the only class that we have that day, and I'm teaching it, and I wait all year to teach it, and it's super fun, amazing. Like you thought you were sweating now, it's going to be good. So extra twisting, extra abs, partner work, upside down stuff, it'll be super fun. So even if you're terrified to get upside down, you'll be okay. It's going to be fun. Sign up. I'll see you soon, hopefully on Wednesday at 7 a.m.